Hey, everybody, it's your friend James Shaw. Thanks so much for being with us today, and trust you're having a good one. I'm thankful that you are choosing to spend some time here because we're going to have an important conversation today. Well, to help you through challenging times. There's no doubt that the market over the last year and a half or so has been a little bit different. And when it gets different, our mindset can get a little wonky from time to time. And we want to help you see opportunity in today's market and yet still be able to get through the trying times. Not ignore that it's harder than it maybe had been before, but choose to see opportunity. And that's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm happy that Rebecca is here with us. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Will you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, a little bit about you and your business?
Absolutely. So my name's Rebecca Del Pozo, and when I'm not singing, I love to sing. Sing at church, sing the national anthem at sporting events, and that's what I do for fun. And when I'm not doing that, I'm selling houses here in the greater Seattle, Tacoma, Washington area, and traveling as one of the newest Keller Williams University master faculty trainers. And so I love to learn. What can I tell you? I have three fabulous kids, one grandbaby, and a really hardworking husband by my side, making it all possible. So,
That's amazing. And you've been with KW 20 years?
yes, sir. I celebrated May 1st was my 20th anniversary.
Oh, that's amazing. I'm 18. We've seen this company come a long way in the time you and I have been here.
That's for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Have you, I need to know, have you done the national anthem at a Seahawks game yet?
Not Seahawks yet.
Let's get you on there.
The funny thing that came through email, one invitation was they said who can sing both anthems, and
Oh, yeah.
I'm Canadian and have been living down here for the last 23 years. And so, not sure why I responded and said, I can. I did. And so that was a Canadian women's volleyball team
Okay.
playing UW. And I had to sing both anthems back to back
Yeah.
and was able to do it without any major flaws.
Well, I'm proud of you. Let's get you into a Seahawks game or Mariners game or something like that. Got to get them excited. All right. They're all like, can we just get to the topic? So
Yeah.
let's do it. You've been in this industry a long time, and you've got a varied background on different things that you've done that have allowed you to build a successful business. But successful businesses can come with challenges. They can come with frustrations, and I don't know about you, but I'm hearing agents talk about they've got fewer leads than they had before. Conversion's a little bit harder than it's been. Are you feeling that out west as
Yeah.
well?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So tell us how you kind of look at it as to not this false sense of positivity, but how do we keep our mindset in a spot that allows us to move forward when we face so much resistance?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that it reminds me a lot of our season through COVID, right? There were so many things, so many factors that were out of our control. And every single day, we get a choice to make. We get to choose what we're going to focus on. Are we going to focus on all of the things we can control, or are we going to focus on all the things we can't control, which then leads us down this whole path of worrying and fretting about things we cannot control? So, during that time, I really went deep. And I mean, like, you should see the pages of my 6 personal perspectives book, because I said, how are we going to move through this season? And I feel it now. What is it that differentiates those who achieve at the highest level versus those who don't? It's
Mm-hmm.
mindset, it's
Mm-hmm.
attitude, and it's
Mm-hmm.
approach to life. And so there is business to be had in the market we're in right now. It's just a matter of asking ourselves that question, you know, what can I control? What is my attitude about this? And how am I going to approach it with that new attitude?
Okay, this is great. I often will ask inside a pivot shift ahead, what is the biggest challenge you're facing in your business right now? I always want to know. And I want to know to make sure that we're doing the right conversations to help our people solve their challenges. And there's two camps, right? So these are the types of answers I'm going to get. Sellers won't move because their current interest rate is too low for them to move, and so they feel like they have to stay. Buyers are concerned about where interest rates are right now, and so they think they can't afford anything. A buyer is going to wait for the market to crash, stuff like that. So I'll get those. And then I'll also get rates are too high. Nobody's moving. um, buy or sellers won't listen to me about price. And I look at them, those are in two groups. The first three I gave you, those are things we have control over because we can address them. We can learn how to overcome objections and address them. But the other one is things we can't control. We don't get to control what interest rates are. We get to control the conversation we have around the perspective of interest rates, but we don't control interest rates. We don't control the job market. We don't control, any of those things. How do you help people, or what would your advice be rather for people to differentiate between what they can control and what they can't? Because I think it's easy to get wrapped up in stuff we can't control.
Absolutely. The first thing that comes to mind is come up with a title, something that you could use to describe yourself other than real estate agent or real estate broker. So, for instance, I'm a wealth building consultant. Just pulled that out of a hat. Like, go talk to people and be in conversation that involve real estate. However, kind of put a different spin on it that look, let's talk about what investors are doing right now to take advantage of the market that we're in. And let's talk about what properties are available right now. Many of the properties that are coming on the market might really have a great opportunity for someone if they're ready to make a move when many people are kind of frozen and on the sidelines. So that's kind of one thing that comes to mind is give yourself a title or think of something, a creative way to get into conversation with people about wealth building through real estate, regardless of what market we're in.
It's really smart. And then you're building relationships for a lifetime, which is how you've built your business, is pouring into your database and being there when they need you. The next thing you said focus on what you can control. The next thing you talked about was attitude. Your attitude matters. I think we have, I don't know. Do you find that, well, we all do. We all have limiting beliefs in some way that impact our attitude. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
How do we work through limiting beliefs, and maybe what are some of them you've had?
Wow, I've had a lot. And how do we work through them? Well, I guess it's that mindset of could this be possible? Could this be possible for me? When I'm up against something where it's like this looks impossible or this feels impossible, it's asking myself the right questions. Could this be possible? And if it was, who would I be? How would I show up? What kind of attitude would I have? How would I, suit up and face whatever that is? And so limiting beliefs for me have shown up in major ways. I don't have a college degree. I had no background in real estate. My parents, the most they ever made combined in 1 year was $42,000. So when I started to allow myself to think, could it be possible for a girl like me with my background and upbringing to make $100,000, to make $500,000, whatever the goal was? It was, well, who else maybe has a similar story to me? And then, life happens. And I ended up in an unexpected divorce, and now it's me. And I'm thinking, I've got to give real estate my everything. Like before I go and just get another job, like I've got to be able to look myself in the mirror and go, I literally squeezed everything I could out of this real estate thing. Because up until that point, honestly, I don't think I'd been treating it like a true business. And so, yes, I can say, oh, I've been in real estate 20 years. However, if I'm completely honest, it's only 7.5 years that I've truly like looked at it like the true business that it is, if that makes sense.
It makes total sense. I hear people say it all the time. I had one agent tell me a few years ago, 2 years ago, she called me. She had capped for the first time in her 18 years in the business. And I was surprised. And I said, well, what's your aha from this? And she said, well, I realized that I didn't have 18 years of experience. I had 1 year of experience 18 times. And then finally, this year was my second year of experience because my business totally grew. So I totally hear it. I get it. I'm curious about when you had this realization that to focus on what's possible, this kind of what if, or if I did accomplish it, what would that look like? You're telling me that was only about 7.5 years ago. What's happened to your business in that time?
Yeah. What happens when you look at a problem or a situation, and instead of feeling like it was a setback, you believe it's a setup. And that's what happened for me. I just decided that this limiting belief of I'm a struggling single mom wasn't going to be true for me. I made a choice. I said, this is a reset and I'm going to give it my all. What happened? I got really purposeful about profit share. I saw this as an opportunity where if I love what I do truly, and I'm passionate about it, other people can't help but ask, hey, I've thought about getting into the business. What's your experience been? So I started building profit share. Well, profit share ended up opening up a door of opportunity for me in the productivity coaching role. And talk about shove yourself into a situation where you're forced to leverage at a really high level really, really quickly. That's what happened. So I started allowing other people to come in and help as this showing assistant model. Really had to focus on listings. And what happened? My business literally doubled in 2016. I went from 30 closings typically a year to 66 closings that year. And we haven't looked back since. I hired my MAPS coach. I got accountable at the most uncomfortable level possible, multiple people that knew what my goals were and were holding me accountable. Incredible things happened when I made that choice to say, this is not a setback. This is a setup. This is a reset. I'm going to take full advantage of this opportunity.
I love that. And that's a decision. That's a decision you had to make along the way. That was a big goal you set for yourself that you had to kind of pull yourself into. And like you said, you haven't looked back since. But my guess is that you've made some mistakes too. That as you look back, you still fall. Like I said, all of us have limiting beliefs around things, so you still fall victim to that. So what happens? What happens when you find yourself in a state that is limiting or not pulling you forward or is holding you back? What do you do?
I go right back to the 6 personal perspectives. It's by far my favorite class to teach, that and Quantum Leap. I go right back to the basics of what is self mastery? What are my limiting beliefs? How am I being accountable? How am I choosing to be an accountable person versus the victim? Doesn't mean that we're like positive, happy, sunny people all the time. It's that you put the timer on your complaining. When the buzzer goes off, okay, I've done my complaining. Now I've got to get on with it and be the accountable person I know I can be. And so that's what happened is I just completely immersed myself in the 6 personal perspectives, like nerding out in the craziest of ways, and ended up teaching that class over and over and over again, quite selfishly, because I needed it. I needed that high level of accountability to really just completely submerge myself into that thinking and that way of processing. And so that's then how the training opportunities came about. Was I'm passionate about the 6 personal perspectives because they truly have kept me going. And when I've failed forward, I come back and go, how could I be eat a pea on this? How could I be more purposeful and not just so like fly by the seat of my pants, Rebecca? Like, so every single one of those 6 personal perspectives, I have like gone deep into each one.
You seem pretty committed to growth and development, personal growth and personal development. And I'm curious, have you always been like that, or is that kind of fallen in line with this transition you had 7.5 years ago?
I hadn't always been that way. I truly believe that when you align with the right people, like doors will open. And so
Mhm.
joining Keller Williams in 2003, I remember going to family reunion for the first time, and John Maxwell was, I think it was 2004, maybe. He
Yep.
was the keynote.
Yep.
And I read John Maxwell's book, Failing Forward, and it just, it freed me to think differently about everything. And then my team leader at the time just kept giving me books every time I would go to say, "Hey, I got a contract signed." He'd be like, "Awesome, read this book." And then so I feel like the library within our market center is kind of where um that growth and kind of that hunger for more came from.
Yeah. If somebody feels like they are stuck, that this market's tough, that they're having trouble, getting positive, and picking up a book is like the last thing they're interested in doing. They just want to survive until tomorrow to, maybe get after it again. What advice would you give them?
I would say get in this group and set an alarm so that you are feeding yourself with the goodness first thing. Don't want to read a book? Make sure that you're listening to the podcasts that we have available to us. Think like a CEO. And uh, when you're stuck, a lot of times you don't even know you're stuck, or you can't really even articulate that you're stuck. You just feel off. And so in those moments, I will go and get in front of someone that I know is going to be a positive influence. So I will go to the market center. I will call my coach. I will like pull on the people that I know will be a good influence rather than isolating myself. And I would say that that's something that it's a real thing right now. So get yourself into groups and communities so that you go, oh, okay, I'm not the only one feeling this weird way, this off kind of stuck feeling. I'm not alone.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's a great answer, and we didn't even practice that one. But I think what we're doing inside Pivot Shift Ahead, our morning mastermind call, which I know you're probably not on live because it's at 5 o'clock in the morning your time, and yet the people that get on that, they feel less isolated. They see possibility. They see opportunity. And so if that's a place, if you're struggling with that, be careful because you're probably in some type of isolation. This is already an isolating business where you're kind of out doing your own thing. Get in community. This has been really good. What's the last piece of advice you want to give everybody, Rebecca?
Well, just to piggyback on that, don't do it alone. If you're going to go and host an open house, or you're going to go door knock, or you're going to sit down and do whatever you're going to do to build your real estate business, bring someone along with you. Go find one of the newer agents in the market center and go, hey, you want to come do this open house with me? Like go and include other people in what you're doing, because one, it's going to bring about crazy accountability. You're more
Yeah.
likely to actually show up and do it. And two, give what it is you're wanting to get. You feel better. It helps the person that's there with you, and then you feel better, and that's a win-win.
Oh, I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you and honored to have you. Congratulations on your success, and thanks for helping out our people. There's no doubt it's challenging. And if we can keep our mindset moving in the right direction, we can see opportunity in front of us. Rebecca, thank you.
Thanks so much for having me.